Ice cream shop.
Hello, I'm Blast with MG. Today we're going to be doing some cooking. We're going to be making an old English staple that is shepherd's pie. It's a really old dish. It's hearty. It's good. It's not too bad to make, and it will feed your family well. So, what goes into making a shepherd's pie? Let's take a look here. We got our ingredients. One thing about cooking is, if you really want to make things easier on yourself, get organized. Get everything on a cutting board or on a counter, and all your ingredients, and just get them ready, because it's going to make your things a lot easier. Having said that, also get your pans ready. You know, we're going to be doing a little bit of boiling, and then we're going to be doing a little bit of cooking in a pan. So we got the pan and we got the boil. To our ingredients. For this, these are all the ingredients you're going to need, including salt and pepper. So you're going to need about 10 ounces of ground meat, 1 onion, about 7 potatoes of medium size. You're going to want to do a little bit of beef stock, concentrated beef stock, a little tomato paste, about a tablespoon of flour, about a teaspoon of garlic powder, some cheese of your preference. In this case, we got some mozzarella, a little bit, about a tablespoon of sour cream, and some rosemary, also for your preference, but I like it, some 3 stalks of celery. 3 celeries, okay? So those are basically the ingredients that go into making a shepherd's pie. And obviously the carrot, I missed that. Now let's go ahead and get it. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to chop the potatoes into little 1-inch pieces so we could boil them easier and faster. Dice your onion, dice your carrot, and dice your celery, and also chop up your rosemary a little bit as well. Okay, so let's get to that. Alright, first things first, you're gonna get your water boiling. So fill your boiling pot with some water, just enough to cover the potatoes by about 1 inch of water, and some salt, and get that onto a boil on your stove. Alright, after chopping your potatoes, you want to get them in boiling water and cook them for about 15 to 20 minutes. So the water doesn't have to be boiling. You could add them actually at the beginning and bring them to a boil. Just boil them for about 15 to 20 minutes, or until they become soft and mashable. Alright, so let's get them boiling, and we'll get the rest of our ingredients ready to go. Okay, while your potatoes boil, gotta boil them for about 15 to 20 minutes. While the potatoes boil, just make sure you got your other ingredients nice and chopped up and ready for the next step. What you want to do also is take your oven and set it onto the broil setting. I want to set it onto the broil setting right there, because at the end we're going to broil the entire pan with our entire dinner in the broiler for a little bit to get a nice. Alright guys, so while potatoes cook, you're going to get a preferably oven-proof pan on the stove under medium-high heat, and you're going to heat up a fairly large drizzle of olive oil. Remember, if you can, it should be an oven-proof pan, because this pan is going to go into the broiler at the end, so to get the mashed potatoes browned up. So if you have cast iron pans, those are great. If not, make sure your pan is oven proof. Okay, so let's get it hot, and then we're gonna get our potatoes in there. Or actually, I'm sorry, we're gonna get our carrots in here with a little bit of salt, and then we're gonna cook them to get them a little bit softer for about 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, so just add a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and then cook them for about 2 minutes to get them softened up. There we go. Alright, after getting your carrots nice and soft for about 2 to 3 minutes in the pan, you're going to add another large drizzle of olive oil to the pan. You're going to add your celery. And then you're going to also add your onions. Along with 2 tablespoons of your rosemary. I'm sorry, I meant 2 teaspoons of rosemary. Again, season that with a little bit of salt and some pepper. To taste, of course. And then cook this for another 5 to 7 minutes. Getting everything nice and sweated. Sweat the onions, the celery. About another 5 to 7 minutes or so. Alright. So let's do that for about 5 more minutes. Alright guys, so after about 5 minutes or so, you're going to take the garlic powder and you're going to stir that into the mixture of vegetables, which by now should be nice and tender. And I stir that in for about 30 seconds, just get it nice and mixed up and evenly coated on all of the veggies. All this time your potatoes are still boiling for, I got another about 7 minutes on them, so while the potatoes are boiling, you're obviously cooking the rest of the stuff. Okay, so we've got the garlic powder nice and evenly distributed, and it's starting to smell really nice in here. 30 seconds or so. Alright, after the garlic powder is nice and evenly distributed in there, we're gonna add our ground beef to the pan. There we go. We're going to season that again with some salt and pepper. Some salt, some pepper. And then we're going to break that up and cook it in the pan for about another 4 to 6 minutes once they're nicely brown with all the veggies in it, okay? Break it up and start cooking it until it's for about 4 to 6 minutes. Alright, so once your beef is thoroughly cooked through, about 5 to 6 minutes, nice and brown and definitely cooked through, you're going to add your tomato paste. Okay, and the flour, and you're going to stir that through, cooking for about 1 minute until it's evenly spread throughout your whole ground beef mixture of vegetables and ground beef. Okay, so spread it through for about a minute, the tomato paste and the flour. that's looking really nice. Let's keep going for about a minute. Alright, after about a minute of cooking that tomato paste and flour and stirring it into your beef mixture, we're going to add a half a cup of water and your beef stock, concentrated beef stock mixture, and then you're going to bring that to a boil. Stir it in and bring it to a boil, and we're going to be reducing our mixture until it's a little bit thicker than the water, until it's about a nectar thick consistency. That should take about 1 to 2 minutes. So keep stirring it in. Got a nice color to your beef mixture here now, and if you could smell it, it smells delicious. You could flavor it with a little bit of salt, a little bit more salt and pepper to taste. You could definitely test this at this point and see if it needs anything, salt, pepper, etc. So boil that for a little bit, reduce it until it's no longer watery, and it needs to be, you know, about this. When you take a swipe through it with your spoon, the center of it should stay empty, you know, for a little bit longer than it would take to if your mixture was too watery. So this is about the right consistency. So we take it off the heat and let it rest there for a little bit. We're going to work on our mashed potatoes now. Alright, now that we finished our beef mixture, we're going to grab our potatoes from the stove. They've been cooking for about 18 minutes now. They should be nice and soft and malleable. I'm going to drain the water from them. Alright. Alright guys, since you got your potatoes drained now and cooked, you're going to get your potato masher. You're going to get your sour cream. You're going to add the sour cream into the potatoes. You're also going to add 2 tablespoons of butter, because what are potatoes without butter? Alright, and you're going to add 1 more teaspoon of rosemary or thyme, whatever you prefer in your potatoes. Obviously you could adjust my recipe to whatever you like to have in your mashed potatoes. You know, just mine is thyme, and then you're going to smash them. You're going to mash them. You're going to make them mashed potatoes. Alright, so let's get these guys all mashed up. You're going to mash them, and you want to get them to a smooth and creamy consistency. So if you are not finding that you're getting a smooth and creamy consistency to your mashed potatoes, you could add a little bit more water to get them to that smooth and creamy consistency. So mine are requiring a little bit more water, and I'm going to add just a little bit. Now if you could also save a little bit of your hot water from boiling them. It's the salted hot water, so you could actually save a little bit of that, so you could add that into it. But in my case, I forgot to save that, so I'm just adding some regular hot water. Okay, so we got a nice and smooth and creamy consistency going on here with the mashed potatoes, which is where we want them to be at. And then we can move on to the next step. Alright, so we got our mashed potatoes nice and creamy. We're going to season them with salt and pepper generously. Oh, however salt and pepper you like, but definitely put some salt and pepper in them, because, you know, we want to... Salt's one of the oldest spices in the world, and to be honest with you, everything tastes better with salt. So Salt and pepper. Get those mashed potatoes nice and mixed up. Alright, that looks really, really good. Okay, once you got those mashed potatoes nice and mixed, you got the salt and pepper in there, we're going to take our mashed potatoes and we're going to come back to our beef mixture. Okay, and it's been sitting here on the pan, so basically just spread it out evenly in the pan, and then we're going to go ahead and take our mashed potatoes and layer them on top of our beef mixture, leaving about a ½ inch gap around the edges. Okay, so just take your spoon or ladle, whatever you need, and just lay those mashed potatoes right on top of your beef mixture, leaving about a ½ inch gap around the edges. Okay, oh my gosh, it looks something like that. This, by the way, will serve about 3 people, 3 adults, I would say. In my case, myself and my wife and our 3-year-old should be able to eat our fill and maybe even have a little bit of leftovers. Alright, so we got our mashed potatoes all done. They're nice, evenly spread around on top of the beef mixture with about a ½ inch gap around the edges. Alright, on to the next step. Alright guys, we're getting towards the end. So our final step is spread the mozzarella cheese on top of the mashed potatoes. Spread that nicely around. Nice and even. Alright. I got a little bit more. I like cheese. And then you're going to stick the entire mixture, be careful not to grab it like I almost did, use one of these things. We're going to take the entire mixture and we're going to stick it in the broiler for 3 to 4 minutes to brown the entire top of this mixture. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll catch you guys on the flip side. We'll see how the whole entire thing looks. Alright, so here's our broiler. We're going to stick it right inside there, and we're going to let it cook for 3 to 4 minutes, and we're going to come back to it and take it out and serve the family. Alright, so we shall see you guys on the flip side when it's done. Another 3 minutes. Until then, have a beer. Alright guys, well, 5 minutes in the broiler and we got beautiful shepherd's pie with a nice golden crust of melted mozzarella cheese. Just a beautiful little meal for the family tonight. It didn't take that much. The ingredients are quite simple. You know, it takes you about a total of 45 minutes to make this meal, but it's easy, it's gratifying, and it will feed a family, and it's, you know, it's fairly healthy, but I wouldn't call this the healthiest meal I've ever had, but it's delicious, and you know, you can make a night of it with the family and enjoy it. Okay, we're gonna go enjoy this with my family, so enjoy making this, and please subscribe.